It looked like just another glossy PR moment. Meghan Markle, smiling in full glam, casually walking down the aisle of an American Airlines flight, waving, chatting, even scribbling a thank you note to the crew. Cameras snapped, fans melted, and it felt like a moment from a royal lifestyle ad. But that cheerful scene at 30,000 feet was hiding something far more serious. Because while Meghan was all smiles in the spotlight, a storm was building behind the scenes. A storm that has now exploded, with claims from an airline crew member, a mysterious woman known only as DL, and whispers of a cover-up that could shake the very foundation of the royal family. This isn't just tabloid gossip. It's about titles, succession rights, and a secret that, if true, could change the monarchy forever. Let's break it all down. The calm before the storm.
Flight, and she's so beautiful in person. She was so sweet.
It all began with what seemed like a routine moment crafted for the cameras. Meghan Markle, dressed elegantly and glowing with confidence, made her way down the aisle of an American Airlines flight. She smiled warmly at passengers, exchanged a few words with the flight attendants, and even wrote a handwritten note of appreciation to the crew. The entire scene felt effortless, polished, and almost cinematic, as if it were part of a documentary or a lifestyle feature. For the passengers and onlookers, it appeared to be a casual yet charming display of relatability from someone who has long been in the public spotlight. On the surface, it felt like Meghan was trying to reconnect with the public in a way that emphasized simplicity, humility, and grace. Photographs of her stroll circulated quickly online, and fans responded with admiration and praise. But behind the controlled lighting and picture-perfect smiles, something else was brewing, something the public wasn't meant to see. At nearly the same time, across the Atlantic, whispers began to circulate about a flight that took place years ago during one of Meghan and Harry's royal tours. But this time, the attention wasn't on what happened in front of the cameras, it was about what wasn't captured. A former British Airways flight attendant who worked on one of the royal flights stepped forward. Though they chose to remain anonymous, their credentials were verified by multiple sources, and what they revealed was unexpected. According to this crew member, Meghan appeared distant and disconnected from the baby accompanying her on that particular long-haul flight. There was no physical closeness, no visible attempts at bonding, and no emotional interaction during the journey. Instead, the nanny reportedly handled every task involving the child, while Meghan remained in her own space, detached and preoccupied. What truly surprised the flight attendant, however, was the baby's complete lack of reaction to Meghan. No eye contact, no visible recognition, no instinctive gestures children often show toward a familiar face. It struck the crew member as highly unusual, especially given the circumstances. At first glance, some might chalk that up to exhaustion, time zone fatigue, or the pressures of international travel. But for those who've followed this story closely, this was seen as more than just a passing observation. It was the latest in a long list of strange moments that didn't seem to fit, and for many, it felt like a missing puzzle piece had just been found. The surrogate's bombshell. Not long after the airline crew's story made waves, an even more explosive account surfaced, this time from a woman known only by the initials DL. She remained out of the public eye, her identity carefully protected, but her story quickly grabbed attention. What she alleged had the potential to shift everything people thought they knew about Meghan's journey into motherhood. According to DL, she wasn't just a witness to the events. She was at the center of them. She claims that she was personally selected to serve as a surrogate not once, but twice. First for Archie, and then again for Lilibet. Her account wasn't vague or speculative. It was specific, structured, and detailed down to exact dates and circumstances. She described being flown into a confidential location, far from hospitals and legal offices, with no communication devices allowed. DL said the place was heavily restricted, with strict rules in place to ensure secrecy. She wasn't given a legal contract or standard surrogacy agreement. Instead, she claimed she was told that discretion was the top priority. Her instructions were clear: deliver the children, sign a document promising confidentiality, and walk away. No questions, no further involvement. Initially, DL says she agreed to remain silent. The arrangement felt mysterious but manageable, and she believed she was helping someone in a high-profile position who needed privacy. But what changed everything according to her, was what happened after the second birth. DL says that after delivering the second child, she was completely cut off. No thank you, no communication, no acknowledgement. She described it as being erased, like she was a part of something deeply important, but treated as if she never existed. That silence is what finally pushed her to speak out. But she didn't just share her story, she backed it up with what she claims is evidence. DL says she kept everything. Videos recorded inside the facility where she stayed, ultrasound scans showing key stages of both pregnancies, medical records that align with the reported birth timelines of Archie and Lilibet, footage of her lying on a hospital-style bed, visibly pregnant, whispering dates and locations into the camera. One of the most striking details she revealed: she is open to undergoing a DNA test. She even challenged others involved to do the same, stating publicly, "Let's take the test. Let's find out the truth." DL's willingness to prove her story through science, not media attention, is what made many stop and reconsider. If her timeline lines up and the footage and documents check out, this could turn a long-standing online theory into a very real crisis for the royal family. The cracks begin to show. This isn't the first time people have questioned Meghan's pregnancies. There was that viral video where her baby bump appeared to fold as she bent down. At the time, it was dismissed as a trick of the camera or a wardrobe issue. But now, viewed alongside DL's claims, that moment is being re-examined by royal watchers around the world. And then there were the baby photos, or lack of them. Blurry images, carefully chosen angles. The now famous baby feet photo, which sharp-eyed fans said showed hands that didn't even match Meghan's skin tone or nail shape. Some even allege Meghan didn't attend the hospital for Lilibet's birth at all, only arriving later for photos. Whispers from within the palace. Behind palace walls, insiders are reportedly confirming what the public had only speculated about. A former royal aide claimed there were always quiet concerns about the lack of medical records and formal documentation related to Meghan's pregnancies. Officially, those concerns were never made public, but behind closed doors, meetings were held, plans were discussed, and now those secret talks are colliding with this public unraveling. DL's videos are particularly hard to ignore. In one clip, she's lying on a medical bed, clearly exhausted, whispering the date and location. Her pregnancy is unmistakable. In another, she cradles a newborn while a masked nurse tends to her. If the metadata matches the timeline of Archie and Lilibet's births, it could be devastating for the Sussex image. Damage control in full swing. Once DL's claims started gaining traction, Meghan's PR machine went into overdrive. Just hours after the airline whistleblower's story leaked, Meghan's team began posting warm, glowing family content, videos of the kids in the garden, blog posts about resilience, carefully written pieces about motherhood. But followers weren't convinced. In one clip, the child shown didn't have Meghan's eyes or Harry's signature red hair. Reddit threads exploded with side-by-side photo breakdowns, bone structure analysis, and timelines. And then there was Meghan's airline appearance. Was it just a coincidence that this smiling flight photo op happened right when DL's claims started spreading? Or was it a pre-planned distraction? The royal consequences. Back in the UK, things are reportedly moving fast. Sources say King Charles is being urged by senior palace advisors to intervene immediately. Why? Because if Meghan didn't give birth, and there's no documented surrogacy, then Archie and Lilibet's royal titles could be revoked. Their place in the line of succession could be eliminated, not symbolically, but through official paperwork. That's not just a personal scandal, that's a constitutional emergency. Silence, suspicion, and legal panic. Harry, meanwhile, has stayed completely silent. Some insiders say he's been aware of DL for a long time, and that the emotional weight is now catching up with him. Others believe he's in denial, hoping this all fades with time, but time is running out. Sources claim Meghan's legal team is working frantically, reviewing emails, vetting former staffers, and trying to delay any DNA testing. Not to disprove the claims, but to buy time. If DL proceeds with a verified, supervised DNA test, there may be no spinning the truth. Public image in freefall. In California, Meghan's usually polished and composed image is reportedly cracking. Staff say she's becoming obsessive over online threads, calling emergency strategy meetings, and breaking down over viral comparisons between DL's pregnancy videos and her own footage. Brands are taking notice. One baby brand quietly pulled its collaboration. A motherhood-themed publishing deal has been paused. A fashion executive even said, "We can't attach our name to something this unpredictable." DL's next move? DL isn't looking for fame. She's refused money offers, declined interviews, and says she just wants the truth out there. Sources close to her say she's seriously considering a private, third-party DNA test. Supervised, silent, and focused on facts. No drama, just proof. And if that proof supports her story, it won't just change public opinion. It will rewrite royal history. The tipping point. This story has gone far beyond speculation, with DL stepping forward and offering what she claims is hard proof, medical records, personal footage, and even a willingness to take a DNA test. The pressure on Meghan and Harry has reached an entirely new level. If her claims are verified, the consequences could extend beyond personal reputation. Royal titles, succession rights, and long-standing traditions may all come under legal and public review. And that could lead to a turning point in how the monarchy handles transparency in the future. Meghan's team is working hard to control the narrative, and Harry remains silent. But that silence is now raising more questions than answers. Meanwhile, DL says she's not seeking fame, just recognition for her part in a story that's been hidden for too long. What happens next? Will there be a test? Will the palace respond? And how will this impact the future of Archie, Lilibet, and the monarchy itself? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe DL's story? Should there be a formal investigation? If you found this video thought-provoking, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more updates, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. This could be the moment that changes everything.